You may ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? I ask myself that every day. I am indeed taping a little camera to the inside of my wheel well. This is a little waterproof action battery-powered camera by a company called Icebox. I'm taping it here because last night when I was driving, I heard a loud popping sound when I went over a bump. I think my new 225-pound front winch may have blown out my front shock only 24 hours after I got the thing installed. That's my suspicion. I'm gonna try to capture on camera whatever the source of that popping sound is. I have a little headlamp under here, crudely illuminating the space. I hope this works. Alright, now I have noticed that the popping sound comes pretty much only when I turn. If I drive straight, nothing happens. I'm gonna try to reverse and make a hard turn. See if we hear that sound. Yeah, there it was. You hear that? I'll go back forward. Let's see if we hear it again. Alright, well, at least I heard it once. I'm gonna go grab that camera, see if anything visibly popped. Yeah, I don't know if you all saw that, but I played back the video on this little camera. When I made that popping sound, the whole spring and the strut just kind of like snapped and went boing, boing, boing. Some dust came out from above. So I think there's something wrong at the top of that spring. Some piece is failing. That's actually what my friend suggested. I'm so glad I have this little tool. This is the action cam by a company called Icebox. I put it through the ringer yesterday in my e-bike ride. Took it out in the rain, got it all muddy. It did great. It also comes with like every mounting bracket you could possibly think of. I just used this clippy thing to clip it to a little bolt down there. But thanks to this, I can diagnose the problem a little better. It is in the driver's side strut assembly. I think the spring is fine. There's something at the top of that spring that's failing. So my friend Morgan, who suggested this is what it was, said I should go buy something in the AutoZone here. They're open for a little while more, so let's get that out of the way. This is what he said to buy, PB Blaster. I thought it'd be like a lubricant. Yeah, I'm not sure. Says it breaks free rust. I'm not sure what else it does. I'm trying hard not to buy other stuff here. My biggest problem. I'm wondering if there's anything else I need. Now, I've been thinking of getting a big sponge as a way to remove water from my kayak, which I plan to do this weekend or next. This is totally my style. Pedal pads in red and black. Nice industrial look. But if I buy that stuff now, I guarantee it'll sit in that box for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm up to my eyeballs in unfinished projects. So I'm just gonna get this stuff and then get to my friend's house. I wasn't kidding when I said they threw in every mount you can think of for this Icebox action cam. They threw in some zip ties, which is what I'm doing with it right now. I thought it would double as a great forward-facing camera for when I'm driving, so I don't have to use my phone. I will mount a more permanent solution there, but it comes with a little remote control, so I theoretically should just be able to take video from the driver's seat, even though it's outside, and it's in its waterproof case. So I'm putting that thing to the test today. Again, it's the Action Cam by Icebox. So far, so good. So I'm gonna get down, there's a little bit of light left, get to my friend, see if we can diagnose this freaking problem. This little remote came with that Icebox camera. We'll see if it's strong enough to penetrate through the steel. Should be recording right now. So I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I have no food, haven't had time to cook. I've had no time this weekend for anything. The one redeeming quality of this super expensive grocery store is I can chug a Starbucks while I'm shopping. That's great. Unfortunately, there's only like a half hour of daylight left. I did want to try to troubleshoot my strut tonight, so I'm finally going to make a beeline for my friend's house. I feel like I've said that 5 times. I've noticed the way to avoid that popping sound is just by driving straight all the time and never turning, which in a perfect world would be great. Unfortunately, roads, just like life, are full of twists and turns. So I need to get this problem solved. I am increasingly confident that it's not catastrophic. I feel like something would have happened by now. I don't see any structural breaks. There's stuff I can't see under there. I have some light set up. I don't know. And I think this spray is going to help me see some of the problems.
It's called the strut bearing.
There's a coil above that. Want me to try to get it?
Sure. You know what? Do it in the bottom of the coil. The very bottom where that cup is that it's sitting on.
There's one pop.
So this panel comes out.
Yeah.
This panel comes out because you can see the joint in it.
What do they just yank it, or
There's
pins somewhere?
There's some pins and there's sometimes there's little screws.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the top of the strut is right behind there. You can feel it.
We tried spraying some of that rust breaker upper on the top of that spring. Unfortunately, in the Ford Transit, the top of that strut assembly is just so inaccessible. I'm gonna have to take it to a shop. They would have to like remove the dashboard display and stuff. It's gonna take a while to fix that. I think my plan in the morning is to go to a shop that he recommends right after breakfast. The silver lining to today, though, is that camera that I use by IceFox. Used it yesterday on my e-bike ride in the rain. Put it on the roof for a while I was driving. Put it in the wheel well. It's like I'm actively trying to destroy the thing. But it's holding up really, really well. I just organized all of its different holsters into one of my little bags over there in my corner of rechargeable stuff. I like it enough that I'm going to put a link to it below in case you want to get one. I think it's a great addition to the arsenal. Anyway, I'm going to sleep well tonight. You hear that? The sound of rain on the roof. The best way to sleep. We'll see how things go in the morning. Oh, yeah, what an awful sound. 3 in a row. So, an update on the car. I made an appointment for a shop here in the Berkshires for Thursday morning. That was the earliest anyone could take me. They're just going to diagnose the problem, but I'm 95% certain it is the front driver's side strut at the top. There's like a bracket or something that's either cracked or sticking, something like that. I need to get it replaced. What I want to do is get the front two replaced. I feel like if one failed, the other is going to fail. I'm fairly certain this happened because I replaced about 10 pounds of plastic with 225 pounds of my new bull bar and winch system. And clearly the front suspension needs to be like dialed in, completely redone when you do a project like that. I wish that shop had told me about that. So anyway, right now I just got out of work. I'm gonna run to my storage unit, try to put away some seasonal stuff, some winter stuff, like my winter coats and stuff. I think it's just like important to have a storage unit just to store all your seasonal stuff. This is only like 55 bucks a month, not too expensive. The problem with my storage place is it's only open like weekdays 9 to 5, you know, when I need to work. About 9 out of 10 times I come here, I have to sneak into the place. I'll show you how I do that. There is a gap under the door here that I more or less can fit under. So that's how I break into my storage unit. I'm sure they have me on video sneaking into this place. I've done it like 700 times. Doesn't seem to be an issue. I want to come here because I want to get, like I said, seasonal stuff. My coats in particular. Coats take up a ton of space. For the first 2 years of my van life, I avoided getting a storage unit. I thought I could get away with just simplifying my life enough, throwing stuff away. That just doesn't work out in the long term. You get seasonal stuff, it's bound to happen, and I think a storage unit is worth its price. You know, as long as you can get one for like under $100 a month, I think you're getting a great deal. Right now my storage unit is just for like build stuff, scrap wood, electrical stuff, and of course Moby Dick. I did have the foresight of putting in here an empty thing, one of these yellow Tupperware things, whatever they're called, adjust the clothes and stuff. I want to make sure they're nice and protected from the elements. Yeah, that frees up a ton of space in my van. You'd think they'd just put like a pedestrian gate or something. If they were serious about people not getting in, then they wouldn't have such a big of a gap underneath that door, you know what I mean? It's always fun feeling a little bit like a criminal like that, you know, doing something suspicious. But right now, there is a Planet Fitness right next to a Harbor Freight here, like the perfect combination of stores. I had a long work day, and I find that just a nice workout takes all the stress off, especially when I have car problems. While I'm on the treadmill in there, I'm gonna read a little bit more about this suspension, how long it was supposed to last, if this kind of issue has happened to other people, just so I'm spouting some straight facts and learn something from this experience. I had an epiphany while I was on the treadmill in there, and it all starts with breaking off a stick from this tree. One of the first things I did when I got my van was install this lift kit by a company called Van Compass. I should have read the fine print on those things, because they're not permanent. Apparently you're supposed to replace them every 70,000 miles. Guess how many miles I put on my van since I got it installed? Like exactly 70,000. I think my winch was just the 200-pound straw that broke the camel's back. I might actually need to replace all 4 of my struts. A costly job, but you know, better to do it now, preventatively. Anyway, my idea with the stick was I'm gonna tape that little Ice Fox cam to the end of the stick and zip tie a little flashlight in the wheel well up there. Stick this up the wheel well where my arm can't reach and just go around and around up in there. See if I can see anything like a crack, a broken bearing, a bent piece of steel, just anything. I'm dying to see exactly what the problem is. This little camera has like a million uses. It's just so small and it's waterproof and durable. So I'm gonna put it to the test again. I might do it on both the driver and the passenger side as well. Yeah, I swear, the deeper I get into van life, you know, like the sketchier. If a cop were to search in here, he would see all these zip ties and duct tape and little hidden cameras and the flashlights and all this stuff. I swear, it's for arts and crafts, officer. I swear. Oh, all right, let's get outside. All right, we're recording. Here's my little invention. Here goes nothing. Let's see what we can see up there. I watched the playback. Oh, I hate that sound. Ugh. Unfortunately, it's just such a tight space back there. I think the only way to get into that cavity is by like taking apart my dashboard. There's not much I can do. I'm just at the mercy of this shop. You hear that? Oh my god, it's just a horrifying sound. I feel like it's getting worse. And if I have to replace my entire lift kit, that's like another $5,000. You know, it's just like every 6 months with this vehicle so far, I have like a huge repair job. Even though I bought it new, it's been that way ever since I got it. Alright folks, one last try at getting up in that wheel well. I do bring the car to a shop tomorrow to get it professionally diagnosed, but I just read the comments from my last video. One person suggested that a rock might have gotten stuck in the coil spring, contributing to that. So I'm trying my camera on a stick method one more time. I'm doing it a little more scientifically. I turn the wheel so I can access the space a little better. I got a much longer stick, and I angled the camera at the end of that stick a little better than I did last time. All right, let's give this a shot. I finally managed to sneak this camera above that topmost coil, and I did not see a rock, I did not see any obstruction, I did not see any cracks or anything like that. So I'm just gonna have to take it to the shop, let them figure it out tomorrow. No way am I taking my car apart just to, you know, I would love to fix this on my own, but there's only so much I can do. I don't have a lift. I don't have all the time in the world. I'm taking this as a learning lesson to pay attention to your struts. If you're adding more weight, especially a 225-pound winch, you're gonna wanna check your shocks. You might even wanna get them beefed up and replaced in the same job. Tell the shop to do it. Don't make the mistake I made and get your struts replaced every 60,000 miles or whatever, like you're supposed to. Just one more thing you have to worry about. You know, prevention is key. Don't let disaster happen on the road. Hopefully my van is okay and I'm okay and I got whatever it is fixed within a month so I can take off on a road trip. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Whatever this was, mechanical issues, an old camera on a stick, the Ice Fox cam. This thing is pretty awesome. Shoots in 4K. I don't know if I mentioned that. Takes audio too. It's gonna be a regular thing on my channel. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.